Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations That Matter Most. My name is Claudette Chenevert, and I'm known as the Stepmom Coach. And I'm here with my lovely co-host, Sharona. Hi, Sharona.
Hi, Claudette. Hi, everybody. And I am known as the MidLife Woman Transition and Transformational Specialist. And wow, we are here today and we're going to talk about something awesome.
Yeah, we're talking about confidence, to trust ourselves, right? Or the trust of self.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it's really important to talk about confidence. We've talked about all kinds of other, about other issues and emotions and feelings in our past episodes, but I really enjoy confidence because this is something that, when you feel confident in who you are, when you feel confident in what you're capable of doing, it changes your whole world.
I agree, Claudette. And one of the things, I was looking at different definitions of what confidence is, and one of the definitions that I came across that I really thought summed it up is the feeling of self-assuredness arising from one's appreciation. And I think that's the key word, appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. And a lot of times I think, especially for midlife women, and maybe for stepmoms, there's a sense that we don't appreciate what we can do.
Oh, you're so right. I mean, even in myself, at the age I'm 53, and there were moments, and there are still moments where I question, am I capable of doing this? And then I remember as a young stepmom, and I see this in a lot of stepmoms, am I capable? Am I able to tackle all these issues, all these, conflict and different ways of dealing with a new family, with stepkids, with a new house routine. And as a midlife woman, I'm sure that you can share some powerful stories of women questioning their capability of doing something different as they get older, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think one of the things that happens, especially when we hit middle age, there's something that happens that we go from, well, I've been doing this all along, and I know how to do that, but now I'm going into a different way of being, and I'm not sure what that is, and so our confidence gets a little bit shaky. And yet we need to realize we've been on the planet for so many years. Yes, we might be learning something new. However, we have the skills, the abilities, the qualities to keep moving forward. And I think that's the thing is, and I was working with a midlife woman who was doing a career change, and she was going into a whole different industry, a whole different kind of work. And, she was scared. She was nervous. She didn't think she could do it. That thing in the head that goes, I'm too old, blah, blah, nah, 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 that monkey chatter brain. And so I said, you know what? Take it one step at a time. Go volunteer someplace where you can see, go hang out with people who do this kind of work, take classes, build it up, build your, and every little step, yes, there was a question, am I doing this? Can I do this? And eventually what happens is, because I think we forget that when we're learning something new, it's a process.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that you said it's a process, and when we're learning something new, I've had the opportunity to learn new skills within my coaching practice, doing technical things, even doing this technical, doing a Google Hangout. It requires us to learn the different process. And being a parent, I think one thing we forget, and I'm going to talk about stepmoms for a second, is that, it's easy for us to forget that, as a mom, you build that confidence on a daily basis. You start with a newborn baby. So you're starting from zero and you're growing with this child and you're both learning to parent. When you're a stepmom, you're put into the middle of a process and expected to know what to do because one, you're a woman, and so society is still stuck in some cases as, well, you're a woman, you should be knowing what to do, right? So why is it so hard for you? Because it's not automatic. It's not a given. It's not everybody who has the talent to be a parent. And, it's a learnable skill. Some learn it a lot faster than others. Some need more practice than others. Some maybe have to have 5, 6, 7 kids before they feel like they get into it. I'm just kidding, but so why is it that we expect that as a woman, if you're thrown in the middle of a process, you should be getting it? And I can imagine, like, if you had a job, if you were coaching someone who was doing a new job and thrown into a new project, in the middle of a project, you can't expect this person to know all the ins and outs, right?
Right. And you know what? I want to just go back. I think that's a really good thing because I think I want to go back to something you said about being thrown into the middle of it. You know what? Years ago, I was talking to a Native American, and they were saying in their culture, there's 7 different types of mothers. I don't remember all of them. I don't remember what nation they were from. I don't recall. But I always thought, oh, that's interesting. And parenting, here's the thing. I'm thinking as parenting is something that we develop as we're growing with the family. Now, I have a certain, and even if I'm not a parent or I'm not a stepmom, it's the same thing. If I'm in a business or I'm in an organization, I'm doing a certain job, that organization has certain ways of how they do it. But if I'm going into a new, it's like going into a new school or going into a new job or going into a new family, I'm bringing my experience, my talent, and I have to let go in a way of what was and then come in and learn the new way of being. And I always said that, in marriage or step families or it's not that I'm just marrying this person or I'm not just being in this family. I'm going into their culture, their way of doing things. And that's a really big learning curve. So let's say you are coming into a situation where you, there was no phones at the table, no matter what, no phones at the table. We all sit down and you're now into a new family where the people eating whatever they want. Oh my God. Right. So there's gotta be a lot of conversation and a lot of the negotiation around how we are going into this, and it's family or business or organization. It's all the same thing. We got to figure out, how do I take my skills, my talents, and fold into what this reality is now. And that does shake up our confidence because it feels like we're doing it wrong because we're not getting it as quickly as we think we should be. And we got to give ourselves permission to say, this is a process and it takes a little time.
Yeah, exactly. I think we got to give, as you said, give ourselves permission that it's a process, and understand that anytime you do something new, right? And I'm just gonna you jump in if you feel like this is right or not. Is that anytime we do something new, even though it's really new, there's a part of our history, of our past learning, that we can definitely use into this new process, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's never completely new to the point of there's nothing you can use from your past that you could use in your present.
Right. Yes. And I think that's, there's basic, I think there is like basic skills that we have. For instance, listening, listening, observing, asking questions, right? So I might not and I think again, especially for midlife women and maybe stepmoms, and I think it's going back to what you said previously, there is this thing that we should, because we're adults, know all the answers and know how to do it lickety split. I think the thing we need to remember is just slow down. Just saying, admit, and I think, see, this is where confidence comes in. Having the confidence to say, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I need help. Can someone show me what to do? And that actually takes a lot of confidence, because we're vulnerable and we're exposing that we don't know everything. But it's also giving the people around us the support for them to feel confident to say, well, here, let me show you, let me help you.
And it comes back to what your definition, right? Where you said at the beginning, self-assurance, being, having that self-assurance about yourself that it's okay to ask questions.
Yes.
I grew up where asking questions was sort of iffy. Some people were very uncomfortable when I asked too many questions. And so sometimes that would get me in trouble. But somehow I built this resilience, and I don't know, it's a gift, I gotta say. Or as my parents said, I was pig-headed or stubborn, or whatever you want to call it, to continue asking questions, because my drive for curiosity was bigger than anything else. I am a super curious person. And so the urge of asking questions is beyond my self-control, if you wish. And I think by asking questions, that helps to build that confidence, because then you realize, like, it wasn't that stupid of a question. It wasn't that dumb. Actually may have helped other people by asking that question. And then also it helped me to realize, like, wow, I'm not alone. So, when you start to feel like a connection with other people, there's this sense of building a bit more confidence. And I see building confidence as a few steps forward. You may back up a step or two, and then you take another step or two forward. It's not linear, and it's not always progressive. There are days you'll feel super confident. There are days you'll feel like you have no confidence at all, and you need some help and support.
Yeah, and one of the things, I can't remember, it was some movie or something, and it was they said that all you need is 15 seconds of really outrageous confidence. When you have to step forward and do something, all you need is 15 seconds of outrageous confidence. And I thought, well, I could do 15 seconds. I might not have it, but I can do it. And, and so I thought, well, that's one way to look at it. It's like, just have that, all you need. And you know what? I think another thing too is, there's this thing, it's like the same with happiness or joy or whatever. We think that we are meant to be confident or happy all the time. And I think that gets us into a box that is not healthy. Confidence, again, is an ebb and flow. It spirals. It goes in and out. sometimes we're shaken to our core. Sometimes we can just, laugh hysterically because we don't know what else to do, which I do, and I'll start snorting. But that's, whatever you're doing your best in that moment. And I think we need to let go of, that I'm going to be confident all the time. No, I know many, it's very interesting when I listen to, quote, famous people or people who are successful. They always talk about how they don't have a lot, there wasn't a lot of confidence. They just, they just walked into it, whatever. Or, they question who they are and what they're doing in the moment. Perfectly. So that makes us all human. We all have that moment where we're going, what the heck am I doing? And why am I doing it? But we all have that moment where we go, you know what? It's okay. I'm just going to keep moving forward the best that I can in this moment. And I think also coming up with, I don't have all the answers, but I have the questions. And I think asking questions is actually promotes confident building.
Yep. And you talked about that 15-second of confidence, which reminded me of a great TED Talk. I heard that a few years ago, and it was like, it was, I could almost say it was life-changing in certain aspects. And I may not say her last name correctly, but her name is Amy Cuddy, Cuddy, and she's on YouTube. And actually TED Talk also, and it's about confidence boosters. And you may have seen her recently on several talk shows because she wrote a book not too long ago, and we were practicing this before we got on air, right?
Right.
So one of the exercise, and she talks about exercises. And especially for women, because a lot of women have a tendency to, crowd down or shrug to when it comes to confidence. And the reality is we need to open our shoulders back, our chest, and even our arms, and do the Superwoman pose.
Superwoman pose. You know what? This is so amazing because I call this yes. I'm saying yes to life. It's a why. I'm saying yes to me, yes to life, yes to this moment. The other one is you stand with your hands on your hips and you put it out here and you go, yes. I am and you ground your feet. You put your feet on the ground and you go, yes, I am here. So that's one. And then, I go, when you said about that women have a tendency to compress, get smaller, right? Well, they did this couple studies I'm going to go back to, and then we'll come back to these exercises. One was they did a study where they had men and women doing the same thing. And what happened is they did it was some technical thing, and they I can't remember what, I think it was something with a computer. Well, what happened is with the men, most of the men said something's wrong with this computer because it wasn't working. Whereas the group of women, most of them said there's something wrong with me, because they couldn't make it work.
Wow. Okay.
The other thing, men, when they come into the room, and not all men, but most men, when they come into the room, they walk the room. Yeah, make it big. Whereas women, when we walk in, not all, but women have a tendency when they walk, they get into a tiny little space. So these exercises are to claim our space in the moment. So, it's like even standing in the door frame. To make yourself as big as the door frame, you stand there and you put your arm there and you're going, yeah, I'm confident. And even if you don't feel it or in the moment, just doing those postures, being the yes or the Superwoman pose, gives you that moment where the brain goes, oh, yes, And that's what we need to, so anyway, yeah, I love those exercises because a lot of times we forget we need to take our space.
I just want to go back to what you said for a second. And this was something I read in the book Sheryl Sandberg wrote in her book, Lean In, about women going to a business meeting. And my husband and I had read the book together about how when women come into an office at a meeting, if there's no space around the table, they'll sit in the back of the table and not join the meeting. And my husband had heard this. And so he was at a meeting, and it was all men, mostly men. And then this one woman came, and instead of sitting at the table, she sat at the back of the room. And he said, no, come here. I want you to sit at the table, because she had a lot to share, and he wanted to make sure that she was being heard. So he made her sit at the table beside him so that her voice could be heard as equally as everybody else. I said to him, I am so proud of you. You have made my day. Thank you. And the thing is, I think as we were mentioning, we tend to step back. And I want to take this to, in regards to stepmom, and then you can take this to regards to midlife women. I see a lot of stepmoms, stepping back and not, being confident. Now, there's a difference between being arrogant or being overbearing and then being confident. You really need to understand what is yours, what belongs to you, and as opposed to stepping back because you feel your contribution isn't valued, or you're afraid that what you contribute to the conversation, the family, whatever, you may feel like it's not good enough. So be careful of, question yourself. Why am I not contributing? Why am I not voicing myself? Is it because it's not my place? Or is it because I'm feeling not confident in that position? So, we really need to have, to take time to view, because it could be seen as being arrogant, overbearing, rather than being confident. So, those are conversations to have with yourself and with, maybe your spouse or a colleague, a coach, your therapist, whoever. But have those conversations, because you don't want to go to the other extreme where you're bulldozing yourself, thinking you're being confident.
And I wanted to, because I think it's a very subtle thing. The difference when someone's being arrogant and someone's being confident. There's something, the way their energy and how they say things and how they're it's almost like there's a bully quality to it when someone's being arrogant. And I think as midlife women, as stepmoms and women in general, we in our society have been told that that if we become too confident, we get labeled all kinds of things. And the word that really gets me annoyed is bitch. Yeah. I'm going to say bitch. I hate that word. And now there's this new thing called resting bitch face. And all it means is you just sit. Okay. Stop using that word.
I heard of that one.
Yeah, the younger people, younger women are using it or something. And I'm thinking, we need to take bitch out of the conversation.
Yes.
I don't think it's a fun word. I don't think it's a good word. And you know what? Bitch means female dog.
Exactly.
That's what it means. And so we don't want to be called that. We don't want to be called a tyrant. We don't want to be called aggressive. We don't want to be called that. And the thing is, being confident yes, there might be being you're going to be you might be a little bit more aggressive. And I think for women, we get to be a little bit more arrogant. Because we have to swing it back the other way, because you know what? I know what I do well. And if I step into some place and I say, this is what I do well, there's a fear that I am going to be attacked for stating the fact. Matter of fact, again, going back to career change, there was this woman that I was working with, and she was saying when she starts listing all the achievements that she's done in her work as she's trying to get a promotion, she's treated very differently than when a man does it. Because the perception, again, in our culture is that women are not supposed to boast about what they can do. So I think confidence is saying, you know what, this is what I do well. These are my qualities. Let me say them to you. And the confidence is not to let how other people are going to respond to me stop me from doing it. Does that make sense? In other words, confidence is saying, I'm going to put this out here, however that shows up. How other people react to it, that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think, you know, it's true that, you know, how other people interpret our way of being belongs to them. And we can't hold on to everybody's feelings. Again, you know, there's a fine line. There's a fine line though, you know, yeah. And you know inside of yourself if you're doing it in order to be aggressive or to, you know, it shows. You can't fake this. I mean, as you said, you know, that energy that you're portraying, your aura, or whatever you want to call it, you know, it shows. And your body language will speak louder than any words you could ever use. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't get away from body language. You can try to fake it as much as you want. And that's why I love what Amy Cuddy says about, you know, your body language, you know, and yeah, you can fake it, but you will start to feel it. You will start to feel different. You will start to feel confident. And again, arrogance and confidence is not the same thing. There's this feeling, there's this inside feeling that's not the same.
Right. And you know what? So here, you know, I can't, I was trying to think how to, okay, here's an example. There's someone running for president in this country who has very bright orange hair. When he talks, you can tell he's being arrogant. It's not confidence, it's being arrogant. And if you really, when I hear him now, I hear a very, I don't hear confidence, I hear arrogance. And that's the same thing. Is when someone says things like, oh, I can make everything happen. I'm big, I'm great, I'm doing this. And no, that's not confidence. Confidence is, you know what? I know I can figure this out. I know that I might not get it now, but I can figure this out. And I think the other thing between confidence and arrogance, and it just popped into my head, arrogant is you're trying to do it all by yourself. Confidence is looking for a team to help us get to where we need to go.
I love it. I love that. And just to add, arrogance is I'm going to show you how it's done, right? As opposed to let's get this done.
And this is what I contribute to help get it done.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So these are things that we need to, so here's the thing. I think, yes, we know inside when we're confident or arrogant, and we all do. So don't be, I think the thing is, breathe into your confidence, let it flow. And, you don't have, again, we don't have all the answers. All we have is the questions, and we keep looking to learn how to do things better. Confidence is, I think, also saying I have qualities, and I need to learn how to do things better. I need to be the better me. So this is what I'm doing now. So doesn't mean we don't get scared. Doesn't mean we don't get nervous, but we can put out our superwoman pose and just say, for now, I'm going to have 15 seconds of outrageous confidence and get what needs to get done. Thank you very much.
Yay! So I think we covered a lot of ground today, again, on this episode of Confidence, Trust the Self. We talked about, defining what confidence is. We talked about ways of being confident. We talked about the different poses. We talked about the difference between arrogance and confidence, and there is a difference. And, we shared a lot of content here. We gave some examples for stepmoms, how to deal with confidence issues. We talked about midlife women, how to have confidence, especially if you're going into a business world, and things like this. And so we invite you to re-listen to this episode and take notes. And we'd love for you to share your comments and your suggestions about this episode. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you liked it. And if you did, share it with your friends. We'd love to have other people join us and to share their thoughts as well. So Sharona, a little bit about yourself before we close.
Sure. And, my focus is helping and supporting midlife women dancing with change. And so they're not just surviving, they're thriving wholeheartedly in body, mind, and spirit. And to get a hold of me, if you need to, and want to have a little conversation or go deeper into this conversation, you can find me at dancingwithchangetothrive.com, and on Facebook and on Google Hangouts on Midlife Women. And please let me know how I can support you as you're dancing with change. Anyway, and Claudette, what can you say a little bit about yourself?
Oh, thank you. And so I work with stepmoms, and I help them, just like Sharona, going from surviving to thriving one step at a time. And I think it's really key to, both Sharona and I agree that, surviving is good, but we want you to be thriving in your life. So Sharona deals with midlife women, and I deal with stepmoms, helping them thrive in their step family, to help them build a healthier and stronger family. And so if you're a stepmom and you would like to talk about your step family and look at ways that you can create stronger and healthier step families and relationship, reach me at stepmomcoach.com, or you can email me at claudette@stepmomcoach.com. And again, thank you, Sharona, for another wonderful episode. This was great. I enjoyed our conversation, and I look forward to our next episode coming up very soon.
Okay, thanks everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.